In June of 2013, I moved back to New York too briefly, to care for my sister Barbara, who had recently been diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor. Understand that my sister and I were 11 years apart in age. We lived thousands of miles away from each other for the past 35 years. We were never very close. She left home when I was still in junior high school, and I left New York to go to the Midwest and never return a few years later. So at first, she just required my assistance getting up and down out of bed, getting up and down the stairs. Then she couldn't put on her own clothes without help. As a brother, if you have a sister, you know what an issue I now have. So it presented an awkward moment for the two of us. We really didn't know each other that well. It was challenging at first, but eventually, the promise of looking askance and the balm of humor helped us get through it. But when she started to need help eating is when it really changed for us. This, much more than the lack of independence represented by the loss of mobility and her ability to manage her own clothing, signaled to my sister a lack of an exit from this illness she had. She went into a deep depression. She resented the food from the hospital. She resented the way they fed it to her. I started to sneak out down the block to the local pizzeria for a slice of pizza for her once in a while, the Carvel store for a milkshake, or the Chinese joint for fried rice and egg rolls. This cheered her and she enjoyed it, but eventually she couldn't even eat this anymore and couldn't use utensils on her own. So I had to feed her. And when I say feed her, I mean physically feed her spoonful by spoonful. But slowly, she relaxed, even though this represented the most intimate thing we'd ever done together. And she began to gain trust in me. Her favorite food was pastina, which is a small little star-shaped pasta in a broth. I'd fed it to her spoonful by spoonful every day. This act was the most intimate thing I'd ever done with my sister or any person that wasn't my partner. Each time she opened her failing lips was a sign that she trusted and loved me. If eyes are windows to the soul, then our lips are surely doors to our hearts. I believe that this touch, the touch of the spoon, the touch of my hand to her mouth as I cleaned her mouth every day, day after day, helped to develop an intimacy we never knew before as brother and sister. I only wish I could have given her more than hospital food those last few days. In the end, when a smile was all she could muster to show her appreciation, I begged for those moments, and a simple spoonful of pastina was for the both of us the equivalent of dinner for two at the cook's house, or a window seat at Blue in Glen Arbor, overlooking the life-filled waters of Lake Michigan. In September of that year, 6 short months after getting the first phone call, I admitted Barbara to hospice care. Within 2 days, I fired 3 hospice workers and sat vigil myself. Hospice in New York is a very different thing than it is here in northern Michigan. You should all feel blessed. The last days, as I tried to feed her, it required that I gently cradle the back of her head with one hand, while I fed her the smallest spoonfuls of broth. Even in these last days, the walls that had taken decades to build between us came rushing down. And I have no doubt that the time, the touch, and closeness demanded by the food we shared opened a level of intimacy we hadn't known since she held me as an infant in her arms.